Come on in, y'all. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. I'm gonna let this play out, and we'll talk about it either later or uh, tomorrow. I don't know. We gonna talk about it.
He took my virginity. First witness in R. Kelly trial testifies she had sex with him at 16 after they met at Cook County Courthouse, New York. Jerhonda Johnson Pace told a federal jury Wednesday she met R&B superstar R. Kelly half her lifetime ago, when, at age 14, she showed up at what is now the Layton Criminal Court building in Chicago to show her support for Kelly. The next year, just after she turned 16, they commenced a sexual relationship. Pace testified as the opening witness for prosecutors in Kelly's long-awaited federal racketeering trial in Brooklyn. Pace said she told Kelly she was 19, but after their first sexual contact she felt uncomfortable and showed him her state ID card proving her true age. He asked me, "What is that supposed to mean?" Pace, now 28, recalled from the stand. "He told me to continue telling people I was 19 and act like I was 21. She testified Kelly said he would train her to give him oral sex the way he liked it. "He took my virginity. After that first encounter," she said, "Kelly made her a blue drink he called a Sex in the Kitchen, a reference to one of Kelly's popular songs. It was delicious, and then I started to feel a bit ill." The two had sexual contact over the course of about 6 months, Pace said. At a certain point he took her phone away and instituted a rule that she could not see a friend of hers who was also in his mansion in Chicago's south suburbs. "We were not able to leave out the rooms. Whatever area we were in, we could not leave out to meet up. It was part of the rules." Rob's rules, Pace testified. Even though Kelly's trial was proceeding 800 miles from his hometown, Pace's testimony, as well as opening statements by both sides earlier in the day, placed many of the events alleged in the indictment squarely in Chicago, where Kelly got his start busking at the L stations 3 decades ago. In outlining their evidence for the jury Wednesday morning, prosecutors described the hotel in suburban Rosemont where Kelly married underage Aaliyah in the 1990s, the old rock and roll McDonald's in River North where he allegedly tried to pick up a teenager, and the studio on Chicago's west side that was the site of many of his alleged abuses. Assistant U.S. Attorney Maria Cruz Melendez said in her opening statement that the trial against Kelly was about a predator who used his fame to entice girls, boys, and young women before dominating and controlling them physically, sexually, and psychologically. "This case is not about a celebrity who likes to party a lot," Melendez told the jury of 7 men and 5 women as she explained the evidence to be revealed in the coming weeks. "This case is about a predator." Kelly's attorney, meanwhile, portrayed her client as a victim of women, some of whom enjoyed the notoriety of being able to tell their friends that they were with a superstar. "He didn't recruit them. They were fans. They came to Mr. Kelly," attorney Nicole Becker said, urging jurors to closely scrutinize the testimony. "They knew exactly what they were getting into. It was no secret Mr. Kelly had multiple girlfriends. He was quite transparent." The opening statements were the first volleys in a criminal trial that centers on a racketeering law more commonly used for mob bosses, cartel kingpins, and leaders of street gangs. The racketeering indictment, first filed in 2019, alleged an extraordinarily broad range of crimes, all pointing to a coordinated effort to supply Kelly with boys, girls, and women, who allegedly abused and kept them under his control. According to the charges, Kelly and members of his entourage enforced a complex set of rules governing everything from the way victims could dress to when they could go to the bathroom. But Becker told the jury Wednesday that the government was overreaching in calling Kelly the kingpin of a criminal operation. "And the government's witnesses," she said, "will take the stand only to lie and embellish their stories out of spite or to further an agenda. There will be so many untruths told to you that even the government will not be able to untangle the web of lies," she said. "Witnesses will tell you all these negative things. They're going to form a picture that basically Mr. Kelly is this monster." Becker said some of these relationships that Mr. Kelly had were beautiful. And many of the rules that prosecutors alleged Kelly forced his accusers to follow have benign explanations, she said. The women wore baggy clothes because they didn't want to attract harassment at Kelly's concerts, and they urinated in cups not because they were denied permission to use the bathroom but because they were often on long tour trips in a van without a restroom, Becker said. "Pee in a cup. Yeah, you might hear that," she said. "It's not illegal, ladies and gentlemen." Prosecutors, however, said Kelly had a long-standing practice of inviting children and women to join him after shows by distributing backstage passes. Once he had them alone, Melendez said, he dominated and controlled them physically, sexually, and psychologically. The prosecutor said Kelly would often record sex acts with minors as he controlled a racketeering enterprise of individuals who were loyal and devoted to him, eager to fulfill each and every one of the defendant's wishes and demands. What his success and popularity brought him was access. Access to girls, boys, and young women, she said. After breaking for lunch, opening statements were continuing Wednesday afternoon before U.S. District Judge N. Donnelly. Throughout the morning's proceedings, Kelly, 54, sat silently at the defense table, stone-faced except for an occasional, barely perceptible frown. The overflow room for press was crammed with reporters, who watched the live-streamed proceedings on television monitors. Across the hall was a similar room for spectators, including family members of Joycelyn Savage, who have long alleged Kelly abused their daughter and held her under his control. The trial was expected to bring a bit of a circus atmosphere to the typically staid federal courthouse in Brooklyn, where other high-profile defendants such as Joaquin El Chapo Guzman have recently faced a jury. Things remained orderly before court began Wednesday, with media beginning to line up outside the courthouse before 7 a.m. A handful of supporters joined a short time later, waiting in line for spots in one of two overflow courtrooms, where spectators can watch a video feed of the trial. In a small nearby park, owners walked dogs while several amateur boxers got some exercise. The highly anticipated trial comes 13 years after Kelly last faced a criminal court jury. In the years leading up to his last trial, Kelly toured nationally and sold countless records. The day of the verdict in 2008, he bowed his head, praised Jesus, and walked out of a Cook County courtroom acquitted of child pornography charges. It was that trial where Pace, the prosecution's first witness, allegedly met Kelly, though the jury was not allowed to hear that Kelly had faced criminal charges. According to federal prosecutors, after his acquittal, Kelly continued the same alleged pattern of sexual molestation, physical abuse, and psychological control that he had been perpetuating for years, a criminal enterprise operating just under the surface of his music empire. Kelly faces a drastically different landscape since his earlier acquittal. His music was boycotted across the country. His alleged abuses have been the target of in-depth investigative journalism and a popular Lifetime docuseries. He has been in federal pretrial custody for more than 2 years, and he has pending cases in 4 different jurisdictions across the country. Kelly's lead attorney, Thomas Farinella, tweeted Tuesday night that the public has only heard one side of the story and he and his team look forward to attacking the case against Kelly in court. After all, the RICO enterprise is based on a series of independent relationships and events that the government is trying to patch together like different types of fabrics and trying to pass it off as silk, Farinella wrote. A jury of 7 men, 5 women and 6 alternates was selected last week. They are being identified by number rather than name, and they will be escorted to and from the courtroom in a partial sequestration due to the high-profile nature of the case and allegations of jury tampering at Kelly's 2008 trial. Among the members of the panel, a male supervisor for an undisclosed city department who likes playing soccer and ping pong, a female fraud investigator and active churchgoer, a male transportation manager who watches Formula One racing in his spare time, a female cook for a local hospital with 3 children, and a male hotel guest services assistant who also dabbles in filmmaking. One juror, a male flight attendant for the past 18 years, said during questioning last week that he has a friend who is a relative of Bill Cosby and followed the comedian's criminal sexual abuse trial. The juror said nothing about that high-profile case would affect his ability to be fair in judging the evidence against Kelly. Many of the members of jury acknowledged they'd heard of Kelly and bits and pieces of the allegations, but all promised to put what they'd heard aside. One man on the jury said at first he thought the defendant was R. Crumb, the popular American cartoonist. They are expected to hear about Kelly's rushed marriage to singer Aaliyah in suburban Rosemont when she was underage. Many of Kelly's accusers are slated to take the stand, including Azriel Clary, who lived at Kelly's Trump Tower apartment until early 2020 and alleges myriad abuses at Kelly's hands. The trial is expected to several last weeks. If convicted on all counts, Kelly could face from 10 years to up to life in prison, according to prosecutors. And either way, after his New York proceedings have concluded, he still faces a federal indictment in Chicago on allegations he conspired with 2 former employees to rig his 2008 Cook County trial by paying off witnesses and victims to change their stories. And he has 4 pending cases in Cook County, alleging sexual abuse and assault. Kelly also has been charged in Minnesota with solicitation. The Associated Press contributed. Megan Crepeau reported from New York and Jason Meisner from Chicago. McCrapo at ChicagoTribune.com. J.M. Eisner at ChicagoTribune.com.
Next article.
Y'all get it? Y'all get it? Yeah. So that is what's happening so far. Did y'all hear it? Hold on, y'all. Yeah. So that's where they at right now. Jerhonda said she met R. Kelly at 14. Said she had sex with him at 16. And you know, it, man, to be honest with y'all, Kelsey had this at a slam dunk. I just can't wait till, you know, to the lawyers and them do their job, man, and we'll just see how it'll turn out. I just wanted to read that, let that audio play for you guys, and I'll just be coming back and probably give y'all my opinion about it all. But right now, I'm just tired. I've been out all day yesterday. So that's it. So there y'all have it. I just wanted to give y'all that. That's it. That's all for right now. If I get more, if I find out more, I will bring it to you like ASAP. I won't hesitate. Let's see. I'll talk to you guys later. Hey, just keep praying, y'all. Keep praying.